And in the little book, Ministry of Healing, there's a chapter on hygiene with the Israelites in the desert with Moses for 40 years. Do you know the only deaths in that camp were old age? And there were strict cleanliness rules. If you wanted to go to the bathroom, you had to go outside the camp. You had to dig a hole, bury it, and no one was to know you'd been there. If someone died in the camp, they were to be taken outside the camp, and again, a big hole dug. And the men that carried the dead person out of the camp could not go back into the camp for 3 days. They had to wash their clothes, they had to wash their bodies. Because whenever there's a death, death is the ultimate cell damage. These microorganisms start working very, very quickly. That's why every dead body will test positive to viruses, yeast and fungus, because the cycle of life has begun. That's why when my daughter's neighbour in late 2020, a 12-year-old boy died. He fell into a flooded creek and his clothes got caught and he died. The ambulance came and on the death certificate they said died of COVID. And the parents were very upset. They said he was dead when you arrived, he drowned. They said, well, we tested him and he was positive. Well, every dead body will be, because the cycle of life has begun. You see that? What are they testing dead bodies for? That's why it is of the utmost importance to understand the cycle of life and its role in disease. Florence Nightingale and the effect that she had with just cleaning. Some would say she's fanatical. She cleaned and cleaned back. Can you be too fussy in a sick room? Within 2 months, the death rate went from 50% to 2%. All she did was turn the tap off. And if you don't turn the tap off, you're still going to be mopping up in the other corner. She cleaned. She got her nurses to clean. And so there was not much for these guys to do. If someone has a bacterial or yeast, fungus, virus problem in their body, the detective hat has to be put on. Why? Why is it there? We've got to get away from the kill mentality, because anything that can kill a small organism has the potential to kill a large. And what are we? The large. Antoine Beauchamp. Before I explain him a little bit more, I'll just tell you the end of Florence Nightingale's story. When she came back to London 14 months later, she looked at the side of the boat and she saw on the wharf a welcoming party, welcoming her as a heroine. Queen Victoria and Prince Albert were there. She changed her name to Mary Smith, went down the back gangplank and went home. They said to her later, why did you do that? She said, I'm not a heroine. She said, all I did was increase hygiene, sanitation and nutrition. Did everyone get that? Hygiene, that's personal hygiene. Wash your body every day. Wash your clothes every day. Florence Nightingale made similar reforms in Indian hospitals. And nursing today is based on that. Unfortunately, instead of scrubbing and cleaning, they just use disinfectants. Kill. And so when they're insisting that you sanitise before you go places, I do a little bit of pretend and walk in like this. And then everyone thinks you've done it, because I don't want this kill mentality. Because when you kill the microorganisms, the body adapts and adjusts. What do you think golden staph is? It's just bacteria that's been killed with the drug. So you know what it does? It just adjusts and adapts. Now they haven't got anything that'll kill. If the human body was designed to heal itself, we just need to know how it does it. We need to know the role of these microbes and work with them. Antoine Beauchamp got a dead cat one day and wrapped it in an airtight container. Now I'm going to give you an Australian example of what happens to a dead cat. Maybe the cat fell off out of a tree or something and it dies. What happens to dead cat? Well, the dingo will come and do a nibble, the kookaburra and the crow will have a nibble, the scavengers come along, the blowfly will lay its eggs and maggots will come out, dung beetles and worms come up, aren't they the scavengers? And they are all contributing to the breaking down of matter, bringing it back to dust. But Antoine Beauchamp wrapped his dead cat in an airtight container. No dingo, no kookaburra, no worms, no dung beetles. After 4 months, he opened the container that had the dead cat. Dust. So what brought cat matter back to dust? The microorganisms that were an integral part of living, running cat took their suit of clothes off, so to speak, put their rubber gloves and apron on and became the trash collectors, the clean-up team. As the environment changed, they became the exterminators. As the environment changed, the undertakers, until they brought matter back to dust. It's the cycle of life. It's the carbon cycle. Nothing's created, nothing's destroyed. It just changes form. With great excitement, Antoine Beauchamp got the dust. He put it under the microscope. It was alive with microorganisms. Nothing's created, nothing's destroyed. Now those microorganisms are in the soil. Now they play another role. So this is why an organic garden has compost bins. I have 3 compost bins. One compost bin I'm adding to. Putting the scraps, putting the weeds from the garden in. They're great because they aerate it. If you've got chooks, maybe. In fact, I was at a house just last week and they got rabbits. It's great in the compost. The only time that horse or cow or chook droppings are not good is if they've been given chemicals. But even then, the microbes can break that up. And so that's my compost bin. I've got 3. One I'm adding to. One is sitting, allowing the cycle of life to bring the matter back to dust. The 3rd compost bin, it's back to dust, it's earth. So before I put another crop in, I put compost into the garden. What am I putting in the garden? I'm putting microorganisms. These microorganisms in the soil are responsible for the breakdown of the minerals in the soil, making them available for the roots of the plant. Aren't you glad we don't have to eat dirt to get our minerals? Well, if you've ever had a baby that eats dirt, when you change the diaper the next day, what's there? Dirt. Just goes straight through. These microorganisms break down the minerals in the soil. They are responsible for the absorption of these minerals into the plant. These microorganisms also protect the plant. They play a role of protection. These microorganisms help to nourish the plant. Now that plant knows that it needs those microbes. So 50% of the fuel that it makes from photosynthesis, it sends back down to the roots to feed the microbes. Beautiful illustration to show that the law of service is written on every plant in nature. Every plant in nature takes with one aim: to give. And this is why organically grown fruits and vegetables have a far higher mineral content, because of the activity in the soil. Let me give you another illustration. We've got an apple tree and blossoms are coming under the action of microorganisms. Then an apple develops under the action of microorganisms, but the apple's not ready to eat. It must ripen. What ripens it? The same microorganisms. They change roles. No one eats the apple. What happens to the apple? It rots. The skin's intact. Nothing went in to make it rot. The same microorganisms that cause the development, that cause the ripening, will cause the rotting, to bring the matter back to dust. That's why we've got these wonderful senses called smell. Smell tells you, ooh, not going to eat that. Ah, that smells good. It's the cycle of life. Can you see that these aren't their enemies? They are the players in the cycle of life. We change roles according to the environment,